I see you're a smart man and you wore the white shirt as well.
The white shirt's the only running shirt I have.
Oh, okay.
So it's going to be the white shirt.
I almost put on a black shirt and I was like, oh no, don't do that. I'll roast my nutsack off. I started in Canary Wharf.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
right over there. All the way past the O2. Oh man, I didn't even see the O2. Oh, that's sick. All right. Guess we better get going to get back.
So long to like rehydrate as well.
I'm gonna have a really cold shower, drink my body weight in water, have some food, and then get ready to go for a swim. At least the pool will be cold.
Yeah. You going straight for your swim?
No, I'll give it an hour or two. Right, it's been a couple of hours since I finished that run with Rob. That was really nice. I think we did about 14.5k, 1 hour 20, but super easy pace, really nice, chatting the whole way around. Really good to see him again, and really good to get in those miles without having to think too much about what I was doing. I've basically just like eaten some food and lied on the sofa for the past couple of hours being lazy. But now we're gonna head to the pool for one of, if not the hardest swim I have ever done in my life. We're doing this by myself, so we'll get in the pool. So I've just finished up in the pool, although it was really busy in there were lots of kids and stuff, so I couldn't take my GoPro in the pool, but I did have a free lane, so that was really nice. It was a brutal swim. We had loads of VO2 and threshold work to do today, and it ended up being 3.5k total, with about 1.8 or 2k's worth of quality VO2 and threshold work, so I am exhausted. I just had some pasta after my swim, and now I'm going to go and run some errands and then go home and probably have a nap and try and escape this sweltering heat that we're in at the moment. Good morning. It's Saturday morning right now. Slowly recovering from those really hard workouts yesterday, so just an easy peasy 3 hours on the bike this morning. Really nice weather. It's about 8:30 at the moment. Already 21 degrees, so yeah, should be really pleasant. So 25k in, easy spinning. Legs are starting to come back to me a bit because they were, pretty tired when we started, but I'm building into it now. So it's now the evening, as I'm sure you can tell. I came back from that ride pretty cooked. I did drink about 1.5 litres of water over 3 hours, but clearly that wasn't enough. I caught a little bit too much sun, and I just kind of spent the afternoon chilling, getting a little bit of work on the laptop done, but mostly relaxing, drinking water, eating food, and trying to recover from that. I don't think I'm too overcooked in training. I think just the weather, I'm not used to riding in high 20s, low 30s for a few hours, so it's definitely something I'm going to have to adapt to if the weather's likely to stay like this. But to round out this video, I thought I'd talk just a little bit about how my training is kind of changing, going from Olympic distance now up to half Ironman. It's really interesting to see how my training has changed because it's changing in slightly different ways throughout each sport. So we'll start with swimming, and I'm pretty much swimming the same volume. I'm swimming maybe a couple of times a week at 3.5, 3.4, somewhere around that range compared to my normal 3k swims. But some of my swims are slightly shorter, so I'm still swimming around 15 to 1600 meters a week, which is something I've been very comfortable with training for Olympic. However, what the main set of those swims comprise of is very different. Before it was lots of 100s, 200s. Now I'm doing mainly kind of lots of 400s, some 500s, with most of my speed work being at 200 rather than at 100 meters. And this is just to kind of build that longer speed and strength in the pool that I need, even though the swim only goes up by about 400 meters. Out onto the bike, and I think this is where I'm seeing the biggest change in my training. The overall proportion of my training that's become bike training has increased significantly. To accommodate this, I have started training a little bit more. So I've gone up from around 14 hours to around 16 hours, with those 2 extra hours pretty much being bike workouts, with kind of 1 to 2 longer rides like I did today, kind of 2 to 3 hours, and then all of my rides with intervals in being longer. So the other day I did a 2-hour ride in total with some short microbursts and some FTP work in it, with 30 minutes at the start and 30 minutes at the end, zone 2, to kind of make it a big workout with some work in the middle, which is really helpful because it's going to take me at least 2 to 2.5 to 3 hours for my 90k bike by my half Ironman. The energy systems in the bike haven't necessarily changed too much, because the courses I'm preparing for in Weymouth and Outlaw X both have some pretty punchy climbs, especially Weymouth towards the end. And so I think it's important for me to be able to maintain that high power to keep up with the pace. But maybe there's a little bit more sweet spot in zone 3 work compared to that true FTP work that there was before, because I'm likely to be riding in sweet spot. And finally, onto the run, and this really hasn't changed too much. As anyone who watches the channel for a while will know, I did a number of half marathons at the start of this year, and I kind of kept my training pretty similar for the run throughout it while I was training for Olympic distance. So not that much has changed, really. I think the main difference for me has just been increasing the length of my long runs. When I'm training for an Olympic, my long runs are maybe 14 to 15 kilometers, but now we're trying to scale those up in between my last Olympic, which was London Triathlon, and my half Ironmans in 5 weeks' time. So hopefully I'll be pushing up to kind of 18 to 20 to 22 kilometer long runs, but that's not necessarily the most important thing as long as I've got that leg speed, because I'm cycling so much, and so I'm able to kind of maintain that long endurance through cycling, which doesn't quite take as much pounding on those knees and those ankles, which is something I've definitely struggled with in the past when it comes to running. It's really interesting to see how much my training has changed. Even though I'm training a couple of hours more a week, my TSS, for those of you who use Training Peaks, has stayed pretty much the same. And I think that really highlights the changes that you have to make when you're taking on a longer distance. You can't keep doing these same types of training and just make each interval longer or do more intervals. You can't, instead of doing 2 20 minutes at FTP, just do 3 20 minutes at FTP. Obviously, that would be incredible. That's something you can do then. By all means, you're a monster. But like, you just can't expect your body to be able to cope with a significant increase in training stress so quickly while also increasing hours. So it's important to adapt both how you train and also the energy systems in which you're trying to train, because going at threshold for an Olympic bike distance of 40k isn't that unreasonable, whereas trying to do a threshold ride for a 90k half Ironman ride is almost impossible. And so working on those sweet spot, working on being better under high fatigue, I think is something that I'm really going to be working on, and hopefully this will put me in a good place for both of my half Ironmans later this year. If you want to see the rest of my training and how I get on in those half Ironmans, please consider hitting the subscribe button, as it really helps out the channel, and smash that thumbs up and share it with another triathlete. That's all for this video. Let me know down in the comments what you're next training for, and if you've got any questions or anything you want to see when it comes to my future training videos. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.